Most Chris. SHALAM, the Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge. We've been on these streets since 1969, trying to teach blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians their true culture and history. And their history is not, how do I say it, whatever the heathen comes up with, like whatever simple holidays he has. Like next Sunday, our people will be celebrating a holiday called Mother's Day. So, what does everybody know about Mother's Day? Anything like specific? Like anything? Y'all stop. You had your hand first. Huh? No, there's no mic. You good?
That lady who petitioned for Mother's Day is rolling over in her grave right now.
Why so?
Because what we know as Mother's Day was not her intention of Mother's Day.
How so?
She just wanted a day to glorify her mother specifically.
That's also true, and we're going to get into that. Mother's Day was literally created by a woman who wanted her mother honored.
Right.
And like it spread into this whole thing of honoring all mothers.
Right.
Right. We're going to get into that. Bakwash, you wanted to say something?
Not of the Lord, that's all.
Yeah, it's not of the Most High. Like, the Most High never ordained you to honor your mother in that sense. Now, because we're going to get that too. Let me see. Did I pull that? Yeah, I did not pull that. Okay, yeah, Khan. The Most High did not have you honor your father that way, your mother in that way. Neither did he have you honor your father. No one gets special honor simply for doing like nothing. Like a lot of these holidays are really honoring you for nothing. Like in the terms of a birthday, what did you do special?
Right.
Like you were born. You couldn't talk for yourself. Someone had to feed you for the next year and a half. Right? You couldn't even pick up a spoon properly. What's called? Someone had to change you. Like what did you honestly do of honor? That I should stop what I'm doing and give you a gift and some type of food, right? Like a mother, like they put it to the point of, how do I say it? Like honoring her for what she's done, but at the end of the day, that's the function of a mother. Like we want to have honor for things that really shouldn't be honored. Like, do women get, is a woman to be honored? Is a mother to be honored? Yes, not with a goddamn holiday. Not with meaningless gifts. And here's the important thing. You don't really care about your mama. You care about yourself. Right. The flowers are for you. If you cared about your mama, she wouldn't have to beg you to take off work to take her to the doctor. If you cared about your mama, she wouldn't have to beg you for money. You would not be sitting there dumping your children on your mother every goddamn weekend so you can be a whore at a club, or you can sell some drugs on a street corner, right? What's cool? But this is what our people do, and then we come back with some television, if we got it, or some cat flowers, or we'll take it to Red Lobster, or we'll take it to Outback of Fridays, when in actuality, we're just evil and hypocritical. That's the truth. What you honestly want is for your children to honor you righteously every day. Like same thing with like Esau's Valentine's Day. Like what's it called? You shouldn't want your husband to give you a gift on Valentine's Day. The cat could be doing whatever other evil under the sun. He could have a gambling problem he's not telling you about. And then the day after Mother's Day, everything's gonna hit the fan and y'all gotta leave the house because he done sold it. Right? Baba Kashaf, if you can give me 2 Timothy 3:1, we're going to start there. So I'm talking about how to properly run a house. Salakia, yeah. 2 Timothy
2:1, sir?
Yeah, Khan. 3:1, 3:3.
This is the book of 2 Timothy, chapter 3, verse 1. This, know also that in the last days, perilous times shall come.
Keep going.
Verse 2, for men shall be lovers of their own selves.
Men shall be lovers of their own selves. Keep going. Now, there's also women. Women shall be lovers of their own selves as well. Keep going.
Covetous, boasters.
Now, what does it mean to be covetous? If you don't know, you can look it up. Yeah, come on. Anybody know what it means to be covetous? Well, I'll give them a chance to look it up. So it says in the last perilous days, for men shall be lovers of their own selves. Meaning, come.
Covetous, having or showing a great desire to possess something belonging to someone else.
And that's what's called, that's what this is about, being covetous. Our people want to covet what everyone else has. Who's the main person our people covet that they have? Who's the main person that our people covet from?
The main person?
Yeah, come. Who do we want to have what they have? Come.
The oppressor?
Right. We look at what our oppressor has and be like, we want that. But here's the problem. We go about getting it the way we go about attempting to get it the way he gets things.
Right.
Like, you gotta understand, like, the criminal or gangster lifestyle that you see our people portray is a direct result of what we saw white people do. You gotta understand, the Italians came into this country and like created the mafia. And because of that, today they're senators, they're union delegates, they own businesses. These are the children of mafia men. Men who put people inside of car trunks and at the bottom of the ocean, right? Their children get to be senators, right? Why? Because they got to sell drugs, they killed people, and we're a menace to society. So what do our people say? Let's do the same so we can become great. But it doesn't work out for us, okay? And now there's Christ prophesying that we're lovers of ourselves. We don't care that the crack is going to destroy the community. I want what my oppressor has. I'm covetous, right? Keep going.
Covetous, boasters.
Boasters. What is a boaster? Like your rapper. He got the pager. He got the nice car. He has all the clothes, right? Keep going.
Pride.
He sees no problem with the evil that he does, right? Keep going.
Blasphemous.
Blasphemous. He insults the Most High by going around thinking that he could ever come up without the Most High's help. Keep going.
Disobedient to parents.
Disobedient to who?
To parents.
To who?
To parents.
Your mother tells you not to sell drugs, right? But you go out and do it anyway. Your mother tells you don't be fast in the streets, but you go out and do it anyway, right? Disobedient to parents. Keep going.
Unthankful.
Unthankful. And you have no gratitude for the sacrifices that your mother's made all these years. You're going to sell drugs inside of her house. You're unthankful for what she's done for you. Understand, like, something women don't understand, like, but men, we know, because sadly a lot of us did this to our mamas. I had a friend whose mama this happened to. Understand, your child sells drugs in your house. If he gets caught, you can kiss your house goodbye. Like, were you aware of that, sis? You're aware of that? Yeah, a lot of women aren't. Like, we'll sit there and let that 15, 16-year-old sell all the drugs all of the drugs they want, and then be shocked when the police and NYCHA come and say, yeah, we have a record, drugs are being sold out this house, we're repossessing it. Come.
The government programs.
Say what?
The government programs you're talking about.
You're not government. I mentioned government programs, but also, like, if you have a mortgage and you have a regular house, the government can seize your house, like, what's it called? Because there's evidence, like, yeah, if they can make a case if your son was using your house as a crack house, yeah, that's evidence. I can seize the entirety of your house as evidence, right? And now you have no place to stay. But here's the problem: who would stop that? Who would make sure he's not selling drugs out the house? God, exactly. Yeah, you're not. I don't love. Like I was saying to the brother, like I was jokingly saying, like, yeah, like you do something stupid and it hurts you, I get an insurance policy if you die. We're not like, men aren't women. Like, I'll happily close the door on. If the police bring you to the house asking if I know you, I'll happily close the door. Like, no, I don't know this boy. I warned you about being on the street corner. I warned you I wouldn't deal with you. I told you, if police bring you to this door, I don't know you. I'm gonna shut the door on you. Guess what? I'm a click. A mother, no. Yeah, no. Yeah, no. I'm not losing my house. I won't be sleeping on the street because of you. Because you want some Jordans. Because you want to look fly and impress some stupid behind female inside of freaking what, junior year? I'm good off that. You can get out of my house. Right? Which is a problem that our people take into adulthood. Then you have all these problems with our people battling against their own parents and having beef with their parents. Because at the end of the day, they're unthankful. And they're unforgiving. At the end of the day, you have to understand why people are inside of oppression. Certain things, now, there's some evils that parents can do, but at the end of the day, you should be forgiven. Right? Keep going.
Unholy.
Unholy, they're unseparated. Keep going.
Verse 3. Without natural affection.
Without natural affection. Now, there's a lot of ways this can happen, and here's the main way I want y'all to understand. Sister who's been touched or molested has a problem inside of her. And because of that, it's hard for her to have natural affection. The problem with that is that your grandmother who defends your attacker doesn't make that easier. Your mother who defends her boyfriend doesn't make that easier. Right? Keep going.
Truce breakers.
Meaning people that can't keep up with what they say. Meaning like you've destroyed your children's lives, right? By cheating on their father. You've destroyed this house. Right? You're a truce breaker. Okay, keep going.
False accusers.
False accusers. You falsely accuse this man of rape. Right? You falsely accuse this man of doing that. Mind you, he's the child's father. You're only doing this because you found out about another woman or some other BS. Right? Keep going.
Incontinent.
Incontinent. Keep going.
Fierce.
Keep going.
Despisers of those that are good.
Despisers of those that are good. Your mother will hate you if she finds out you're not a hoe. Like people, I've seen and heard this. You are not a hoe and you are doing what's righteous in the eyes of God, but strange to the world. Your mother will look at you like you're crazy. He has other women. And you're still with him? I didn't raise you to be like that. Right? Keep going.
Verse 4. Traitors.
Traitors. Meaning, what's it called? You want to do everything evil against our nation. Meaning what? You want to kill your children. We need men and women inside of our nation. You're destroying that. Child support. The court system as a whole, man and female. If you're a man who got a woman on child support, you're just as evil as any woman who has a man on child support. Okay, keep going.
Heavy.
You need to keep going.
High-minded.
You think about only yourself. Keep going.
Lovers of pleasures.
Lovers of pleasures. Keep going.
More than lovers of God.
What's a lover of pleasure more than a lover of God? You love pork chop. God.
I was going to say sin.
Yeah, God, you love sin. You love pork chop. You love flowers on Mother's Day. You love that Christmas tree. I don't know something about them grandparents and giving your children a gift. Like they just have to give that baby a gift. Right? You're lovers of pleasures more than lovers of God. God. If anybody got a question, let me know. Keep going.
Verse 5. Having a form of godliness, but denying the power thereof.
Having a form of godliness, but denying the power thereof. Because Mother's Day, you go inside the Christian church, they love Mother's Day, right? They love Mother's Day inside the Christian church, but they deny the power thereof. They deny the fact that God is against the holiday completely. They love God so much inside the Christian church, they have fish fry with fried shrimp. Like, y'all realize that, right? They have a form of godliness, but deny, but deny the power thereof.
Right.
Right? Keep going.
From such, turn away.
And in that instance, what is that letting you know? You got to stay away from people like that.
Right.
Like, people like that are not what's called good people to be around. Why? Because at the end of the day, who would want to be around people like that? Boasters, lovers of themselves and only love pleasure. They're not good people. And that's sadly most of the people we know. people who love pleasure more than the Most High. Like, serving the Most High is not about pleasure. Serving the Most High is about pain. Love is about pain. All love is about pain. Like, put that in your chest. All love is about pain. You cannot truly love something if you are not willing to suffer for it. Right? Keep going.
Verse 6.
Like Salakia, I'll give you an example. Like, if he gets sick, like the brother in the back, little brother in the back, one of y'all got to take off work and lose some money. Are y'all going to do that? Why? You what? What was the first thing you said? You love him, right? And we're going to get into that and explain why that's important, because the simple act of that explains, because there's a scripture Christians use when we say Mother's Day is evil. Anybody know it? No?
What?
Like a scripture to say, this is why you should celebrate Mother's Day. Come.
I thought you were going to say to honor thy mother and father.
Yeah, come. That's exactly it. Honor your mother and father. What's the problem with that? What does that actually mean, to honor your mother and father? Bakwash?
To take care of them when they old age, when they need your help.
And that's exactly what it is. I'll get it in a second, but Khan, keep going.
This is 2 Timothy chapter 3, verse 6. For of this sort are they which creep into houses and lead captive silly women.
Lead captive who?
Silly women.
Who?
Silly women.
For this sort are they which creep into houses and lead captive silly women. Keep going.
Laden with sin.
Laden with sins. Keep going.
Led away by diverse lusts.
With diverse lusts.
With diverse lusts.
Meaning what? What is this talking about? Who is it really talking about from 2 to 5? Come.
The Christian pastors and Christians.
You're asking about more so the pastors. That's exactly what it's talking about. Meaning what? Your pastor is a greedy bastard who's covetous, a boaster, proud, blasphemous, disobedient to parents, unthankful, and unholy. That's your pastor. Okay? And what does he do? He leads away silly women. Why? Why not men? Come.
Because they're not trying to hear what he's talking about. But the woman is more susceptible.
Give me more. Come.
The women are more gullible than men?
Yes. Women are more gullible than men.
Right.
Meaning, how do I say it? You aren't wrong, but there are silly men. There are men in the church who used to go to church. There are men that listen there, but women are more gullible. Meaning, it's very hard to get 30 years worth of tithe from a man. His house burns down and you tell him to pray for it. That's easy to do to a woman. A man will knock you the hell out. Pray for it. Like, I'm sorry, I gave you 30 years worth of tithes and you telling me to pray. Yeah, you're getting knocked out, bro. Like, that's what's about to happen to you. Right? You can't do that with men, but you can do it with women. How? And I kind of want to precept. But Khan, what you gonna say, sis? Huh? That's the perfect precept. What did the serpent say to Eve? Do you remember?
He told her if she eats the apple, she'll get knowledge, or I'm not sure.
Somewhat. She'll gain knowledge. You remember, McQuash?
He told us we're gonna die.
Yes, but what else? Most important part. Pull it. Give me Genesis 3 and I guess it'll start around 2 or 3. Yeah, let me get that in Exodus first.
Genesis chapter 3, verse 2. And the woman said unto the serpent, we may eat of the fruit of the trees of the garden.
Right.
Verse 3. But of the fruit of the tree which is in the midst of the garden, God hath said, ye shall not eat of it, neither shall ye touch it, lest ye die. Verse 4.
Now stop. Yeah, keep going.
Verse 4. And the serpent said unto the woman, ye shall not surely die.
You won't die, right? It's not going to hurt you. Keep going.
Verse 5. For God doth know that in the day ye eat thereof, then your eyes shall be opened.
Right.
And ye shall be as God.
As what?
As God.
As what?
As God.
And that's the point. The Christian pastor and all these cats want to make a woman God. Or want to perceive her as a God because it's easier to pimp a woman who thinks she's God. Like, how do I say it? How do I explain it? Women are gullible to the extent that, okay, really this is anybody. Freedom is a double-edged sword. An idiot or an irresponsible person should never have freedom. Why? Like,
because their freedom would be their destruction.
Right. Like, little man. Give little man whatever you use for little man. Meaning, like, if little man costs you $200-300 a month, let little man have the money. Give him all that money and see if he comes back with clothes. See if he comes back with decent food for him to eat. See if he comes back with yeah, right. It's a funny joke, right? Yeah, because he's not ready for freedom. He's not responsible enough for it, right? It's the same thing with women. Like, you tell a woman she's a god, she can do this and that, nobody can tell her what she wants. She now thinks it's a profitable idea to swing on a stripper pole. But the sad thing is, she thinks she can still somehow get a man this way and be respected by said man, right? Swinging on a stripper pole. Like, same thing with a man. Brothers think that we have such freedom in being a drug dealer and doing whatever evil we want until the case comes. Then we realize this was to our destruction, right? But mainly with sisters, telling them they're a god or putting them at some type of pedestal is usually to their destruction. And it's usually done by some evil bastard who knows it's to their destruction. Understand, your pastor needs you to be destroyed. Like, he needs you to have marital problems. Otherwise, what do you need him for? Right? Now, we're going to get kabod. This is burdensome in the Hebrew. This is the word for honor. A primitive root to be happy, that is in a bad sense. Severe, or in a good sense, numerous. Causative, to make weighty. Abounding with more grievously. Afflict, boast, be chargeable, dim, glorify, make glorious, hardened, heavy. Basically, to take care of. That's what it means to honor. Meaning, like I said, you take off work to deal with him. A time will come where he's ordered by the Most High to take off work to deal with you. And that's the point. That's what it probably means to honor your mother and father. Which is why I came out earlier, like, you won't even take your mother to the hospital or to a doctor's appointment. That is how you probably honor your parents, by taking care of them in their old age. You don't honor them with goddamn flowers. That means nothing to God. Right? Salakia, you still in Timothy, right?
Come.
Verse 7.
Come. 2 Timothy chapter 3, verse 7. Ever learning and never able to come to the knowledge of the truth.
Ever learning and never able to come to the knowledge of the truth. Meaning what? Those women constantly are in the Bible, constantly in some goddamn church for years, but they can't get the knowledge of the truth. Why? It's very simple.
So they're not following the laws that the pastor most high done.
Why though?
Because the pastor's not teaching it.
No. Give me another one. Never able to. Coming into the knowledge of the truth is knowing that you have to keep the law, statutes, and the commandments. But it's saying they're never able to.
Is it because they was getting done by sin? That's like.
Yeah, give me more.
They want to, but this party is going on, so I'm gonna go to the party instead of going in.
I mean, yes, to a point. Here's how much it works. You're familiar, what's it called? The Most High will not give you the truth, right? Like, you're familiar with that scripture or not? Let me get it. Like, yeah, it's in Mark, I believe. What's it called? Now, let me explain how this works. Never able to come into the truth. Meaning, like, how do I say it? Okay. Meaning, like, how do I say it? What's it called? The Most High don't want you to get, it doesn't want some of our people to get the truth. Right, you're familiar with that one. That they be not saved. Can't get it, Bible control. Hold up, I'm gonna have you get it. Salagia, I'm trying to find it. Salagia. Now, meaning what? Never able to come into the knowledge of the truth. It's give me Matthew's. Salakia. Matthew, it's in Mark.
About chapter 4.
Read what you got.
I'm looking for it still. I thought it was chapter 4.
I thought it was in Mark, but I know there's a version of it in Matthew, but I don't know if that's the one I wanted. Give me Matthew 13 and 10. Bible shot real quick. Meaning what? So what is he saying here? And never able to come to the knowledge of the truth. They're always learning. They're always inside the scriptures, but they're never able to get this. Why? Because he doesn't want to give it to them. Give me, you got it?
Come.
13 and 10, read.
The book of Matthew, chapter 13, verse 10. And the disciples came and said unto him, why speakest thou in them parables?
Unto them in parables. Meaning what? Christ would speak like a man had a field, and then in that field he had seeds. But in class, what's it called? Basically, the white man's the devil. Don't trust the Pharisees. Don't eat pork. Why do you tell us don't eat pork? Don't trust the Pharisees. But with them, it's all a parable and a story. Read the next line.
Verse 11. He answered and said unto them, because it is given unto you to know the mysteries of the kingdom of heaven.
It's given to you to know the mysteries of the kingdom of heaven. Right? You came in here and you said, I will learn the truth. Right? That let the Most High know you hear his voice. My sheep hear my voice. Right? Keep going.
But to them, it is not given.
It is not what?
It is not given.
It is not given. Those sisters in the Christian church that want to listen to the pastor aren't getting the truth. Right? They're never able to come into the truth. Why? Because they don't want to. They never wanted to. Right? You have to understand, reincarnation is possible. These are the same people that ignored Christ on the streets, that ignored Jeremiah on the streets, that ignored Elijah on the streets. Most High has something in store for you. You could have listened to Elijah. You could have listened to Jeremiah. Now I'm going to make sure you don't listen to the Zariah. Now I'm going to make sure you don't listen to Muhammad. Now I'm going to make sure you don't listen to Bakwash. Right? You'll listen to the Christian pastor who tells you to teach your children Mother's Day and also tells you to forgive your son when he sells drugs out the house. But then when your son gets arrested and he would need some money on his commissary books, that's when you only feed the pastor. Which is so evil. You got a son sitting in jail, but you feed the pastor. Right? Drop that. We're going to skip around a bit. Give me Proverbs 14 and 12. Okay. Anybody got any questions? Let me know when you got it.
I got it, sir.
Okay.
The book of Proverbs, chapter 14, verse 12. There is a way which seemeth right unto a man, but the end thereof are the ways of death.
But the ends thereof are the ways of death. Meaning what? What does this necessarily mean? You may think it's okay to give your mama a gift. You may think that it's a harmless and what's it called thing. The Most High said don't do it. It may seem right to you, but what's right to you isn't right for him. His ways aren't your ways. His ways are mysterious. He says don't give the gift, don't give the gift. You want to, what's it called? We'll get to that later. I'll make sure we get to that at the end. Bible Kashar, what's it called? After that, give me Isaiah 3 and 12. Isaiah 3, verse 12. You know that one? Okay. This is a classic one. Use this for your pastors. You ever got to deal with pastors and really the Christian church as it pertains to the women inside of it. Verse 12.
This is the book of Isaiah, chapter 3, verse 12. As for my people, children are their oppressors.
Who are the children? God.
People that don't know the truth.
No. Who are the children? God.
Other nations.
Yes, in one way. Khan. Who else?
Children?
No. The children are the oppressors. One of the children is the other nations, mainly our oppressor. You wanted to say something?
Is it Israel?
Huh?
Is it Israel?
No. Israel's well, yes, Israel is oppressing Israel, but no. Who specifically? Who helps our oppressor oppress us? Khan. No. That would be considered our oppressor, technically. Who are his children? Khan. Yes, but who are his children? Who are our oppressor's children? Who are the children of the devil? Khan.
The people that going against the word of the Lord, the Christians?
Give me more. I want a specific word. Ye are of your father.
Yeah, the
Who?
The devil.
Who?
The devil.
No, but who is that? Who is Christ speaking to?
The
Khan.
Sadducees and Pharisees, right?
Right. So you always want to say, like with that, Sadducees and Pharisees or Christian pastors or our leaders. Right? Because the rich, yeah, Jay-Z's great and all that, but who listens to Jay-Z? Jay-Z doesn't really oppress me. You understand what I mean? Your Christian pastor does. Now, how is he a child? You go into the New Testament. When I was a child, I spoke as a child. Talking about Paul. He wasn't talking about his literal childhood. He was talking about his time as a Pharisee. Meaning that's a childish way of thinking. You know how many times Christ cut them? Like, they're like understand, anytime you see Christ cut the scribes and the Pharisees, like, understand it like, we don't see it too much because we see they're all frauds. But like, that's like us cutting like notable pastors. Right. Like you're like when you see the captains talk like, yo, you're a pastor and you don't like notice. Like that's the scribes and the Pharisees. Like understand, most of those men, like, or a decent chunk of them are Levites. And even the ones that aren't Levites are pretty much like Paul. Paul was trained from infancy. Like he was a 3-year-old, 2-year-old. Right. Like, but what's it called? They're getting cut by a carpenter's son. Right? Y'all are children in this. Right? Children oppress my people. Talking about our oppressors, the heathen, and our leadership that follows after them. Keep going.
And women rule over them.
And that's how the system works. Women rule over them. Right? The community, y'all think the community is run by women by accident? That's purposeful. Right. It is easy to keep a community destroyed when it's run by women. You don't believe me? Look at the black community. The black community is half a product of women being in charge of our households. And it's not to women's detriment, that a woman necessarily, because one thing you have to understand, you never want to make it look like it's a battle of the sexes or the woman did something necessarily wrong. The woman was never meant to be in this position in the first place. A woman was not meant to lead the house. Okay, that's why you get bad situations like a few years ago. Like I think a school called the moms on a child, and like she was beating the hell out of the child so bad that the school felt bad and started recording the shit, recording the incident, and then called DHS on the parent afterwards. Like we didn't know it was about to be like this, because she was beating the boy, berating the boy, so on and so forth. Same thing with the mother, with the Baltimore riot when Freddie Gray died. Now, that really was our oppressor being the devil. Have y'all seen that video?
With the, it wasn't video footage, it was a phone call, right?
Nah, it was a video.
It was a video of the beating the kid?
Yeah, Khan, in Baltimore, because he was trying to riot.
Oh, no.
Yeah, Khan. A little brother was trying, high school kid was trying to riot. His mother caught him outside, saw what he was doing. Beat the hell out of him in the street. Yeah, she caught a case for that.
I seen that.
Yeah, Khan. Now, the thing about that is, that in itself is love, and that's our oppressor being the devil, because at the end of the day, you should be able to stop your child. Now, because here's the thing. She does nothing. He does it. She's a bad parent. Khan.
Even that, he went out there and riot and police would have shot him out there and put him dead out there like.
Right.
She saved his life.
Right. But exactly. But here's the thing. You're taught that that's wrong. That's wrong to do. Okay? When in a way, I'm not saying what she did was right or wrong, but having a father in that situation probably could have helped more. Like even with that sister Corinne Gaines, she had the police was coming inside the house, and her boyfriend said, "Yeah, we ain't staying here. We're leaving out the back." This woman wanted to take it upon herself to try to be like, what is it called? Oh, I'm a sovereign. Like I'm not a part of this country, so they can't treat me any type of way. And have a gunfight with the Pope? Yes, her sister tried this. Look up Corinne Gaines. I think it's KORRYNGAINES. Corinne Gaines. Tries to have a firefight with the police. Kaplow. And then they shoot her 5-year-old in the back. Running. They planned to kill that baby too. But they didn't. He survived. Yeah, God. That's why men are needed. Right? Keep going.
Oh, my people, they which lead thee, cause thee to err.
They lead us by causing, how do we err? By putting women on the pedestal. I had to argue some cat who was like he does not like, how do I say it? I don't want to say the cat hate women. But he looks down on women for the state that our enemy has put them in, and the ideals that a lot of our women take on in this whorish culture. But even this cat, me and him had a small little squabble because the first, being on earth was a woman. Now let me explain something to you about the whole Lucy, or the black woman is the first being, like it came from a black woman. Where did Lucy come from? Where did this black woman come from? Anybody know the answer? I do. Anybody? Bakwash, you've been watching this for a minute. Lucy, have you ever heard a black woman is the first woman on earth, or the first person on earth? Life came from a black woman. You've never heard of that? Life came from a black woman?
I've heard it. I didn't get
Con, do you know where the black woman came from, though? Like this first black, because science-wise, they gave her a name, Lucy. That's what they call her. They'll call her Lucy or they'll call her Eve. But they like Lucy more because they don't like the Bible. But do you know where Lucy came from, according to science?
According to science? It came from a black man.
No. You've been watching us long enough. You've seen our debates. An idiot said it. what science believes. I'll give you a hint, Reggie. Because that's actually what they believe. You didn't get that out of thin air. That is literally the belief. You don't know? You don't remember? Well, you've seen that interview, right?
Oh, God. I don't remember what he said those things.
The Great Ape. Like that whole black woman, everybody comes from the black woman. Because you have to think about it. If black woman is the first human, where did she come from then? According to them, the Great Ape. Because remember, that fits into the whole evolution thing. They're trying to keep that part out. Explain something. Let me go a little deeper with that whole Great Ape thing. Evolution was created by Darwin, Charles Darwin. Charles Darwin was a racist who thought black people came from monkeys. Right. So now you can understand why this whole idea comes from. That's what our people give into. Those that lead the course of the earth. Who leads us? Some goddamn Hamite named Polite. Teaching our women that they can be gods. Even though you catch them with trannies and catch them goddamn praising some white woman in a dashiki or over in Mecca praising Islam. I'm like, pick a side, bro. Right? Keep going. And destroy the way.
And destroy the way of thy path.
And destroy the way of thy path. Keep going.
Verse 13. The Lord standeth up to please and standeth to judge the people.
And stands to judge the people. Meaning what? He's going to deal with your, with your grandmother for what she allowed to happen to you inside that house is. Right? Your mother, your mother who destroyed your credit will be dealt with. Right? Your mother should not have gone out and used your credit to help her boyfriend start a business when you were 7. That's evil. Right? That's what the Bible calls eating your child. One of the ways, because brother, people actually was literally doing it. Keep going.
Verse 14. The Lord will enter into judgment with the ancients of his people.
With the ancients of it, meaning the elders. All right, keep going.
And the princes thereof, for ye have eaten up the vineyard.
Meaning what? The leaders of our people are going to have a sore day. Why? Because you've eaten the vineyard. What's the vineyard? Anybody? Come.
The vineyard is where the fruits go, right? Grapes and wine.
But what is the vineyard? What is, come. Yes, but what does the vineyard represent? Huh?
Nation.
The nation. You've eaten up the nation. You took the tithes, right? You got the best seats at the synagogues, right? Al Sharpton's hair stays perm, right? Yet and still, you've destroyed our women. Yet and still, you've destroyed our community. I'm going to deal with you. That's what the Most High is saying here. Keep going.
The spoil of the poor is in your houses.
The spoil of the poor. Meaning what? You rob these people. That's how he sees it. Your pastor is robbing the community by not properly teaching you this. And in not teaching you, you never get healed. And if you never getting healed, you continually have to go back to him. You got to understand, I'm an evil person, so I think about these things. Like, honestly, I'm the type of person, if I ever discover the cure for cancer, it sucks to be y'all. Like, I think about that. Like, I will jump, if I discover the cure for cancer, I'll dump all my money into chemotherapy and never release the cure. Because that's constant. I give you a shot and you no longer have cancer. I give you chemotherapy, you'll be here for the next 50 years. That's how church works. You think somebody might not, we don't do conspiracy theories in here, but honestly, somebody who's making money off AIDS medicine discovers the cure for AIDS. You think they're going to release that? AIDS medicine is $700 a bottle. The cure for AIDS, no matter if it's $1 million for one shot, for the shot, I'm losing money. Same thing with your pastor. That's why he needs you in a state to think you're a God and that everything's above you. All you got to do is keep praying for it. And that's a woman. A woman will fall for that. A man won't. A man needs to see some type of results. right? We're going to get into this for time's sake. I'm going to do the history one. Okay, Mother's Day is a holiday honoring motherhood. This is history.com. That is observed in different forms throughout the world. In the United States, Mother's Day will occur on Sunday, May 9th. The American incarnation of Mother's Day was created by Anna Jarvis in 1908 and became an official U.S. holiday in 1914. Jarvis would later denounce the holiday's commercialization and spent the latter part of her life trying to remove it from the calendar, as the brother brought out earlier. While dates and celebrations vary, Mother's Day traditionally involves presenting moms with flowers, cards, and other gifts. Celebrations of mothers and motherhood can be traced back to the ancient Greeks and Romans, who held festivals in honor of the mother goddess Rhea and Sibyl, basically the same god under two different names. But the clearest modern precedent for Mother's Day is the early Christian festival known as Mothering Sunday. Once a major tradition in the United Kingdom and parts of Europe, this celebration fell on the fourth Sunday in Lent and was originally seen as a time when the faithful would return to their mother church, the main church in the vicinity of their home, for a special service. Okay, over time, the Mothering Sunday tradition shifted into a more secular holiday, and children would present their mothers with flowers and other tokens of appreciation. This custom eventually faded in popularity before merging with the American Mother's Day in the 30s and 40s. Okay, the origins of Mother's Day as celebrated in the United States date back to the 19th century and the years before the Civil War. Ann Reeves Jarvis of West Virginia helped start Mother's Day work clubs to teach local women how to properly care for their children. These clubs later became a unifying force in a region of the country still divided over the Civil War. In 1868, Jarvis organized Mother's Friendship Day, at which mothers gathered with former Union and Confederate soldiers to promote reconciliation, meaning what? This holiday was really created to bring together white people after the Civil War, right? Another precursor to Mother's Day came from the abolitionist and suffragette Julia Ward Howe. In 1870, Howe wrote the Mother's Day Proclamation, a call to action that asked mothers to unite in promoting world peace. In 1873, Howe campaigned for a Mother's Peace Day to be celebrated every June 2nd. The official Mother's Day holiday arose in the 1900s as a result of the efforts of Anna Jarvis, daughter of Anna Reeves Jarvis. Following her mother's 1905 death, Anna Jarvis conceived Mother's Day as a way of honoring the sacrifices mothers made for their children. After gaining financial backing from the Philadelphia department store owner named John Wanamaker, in 1908, she organized the first official Mother's Day celebration at Methodist Church in Grafton, West Virginia. Right? Notice it's a church, right? By 1912, many states, towns, and churches had adopted Mother's Day as an annual holiday, and Jarvis had established the Mother's Day International Association to help promote her cause. Her persistence paid off in 1914 when President Wilson signed a measure officially establishing the second Sunday in May as Mother's Day. Anna Jarvis had originally conceived of Mother's Day as a day of personal celebration between mothers and families. Her version of the holiday of the day involved wearing a white carnation as a badge and visiting one's mother or attending church services. But once Mother's Day became a national holiday, it was not long before florists, card companies, and other merchants capitalized on its popularity. While Jarvis had initially worked with the floral industry to help raise Mother's Day's profile, By 1920, she had become disgusted with how the holiday had been commercialized. She outwardly denounced the transformation and urged people to stop buying Mother's Day flowers, cards, and candies. Right? Now we're going to get more of its pagan aspects. Salakia. Salakia, let me get that festival. Now we're going to get the ancient festival of it. Salakia, 1 second. Bear with me. After okay, the name of it in the ancient Rome was Megalencia or Megalecia. We celebrate the introduction of the cult of Magna Mater, the great mother of the gods, into Rome. During the war with Hannibal, the Senate consulted the Sibylline book and received an oracle instructing them to bring the great mother of Phrygia to Rome. Okay, that's what this was about. This was about getting their God, right? And worshiping their God for power. She was known under many names: Idea, Didima, Sipilla, Agdistis, Rhea, Kubaba, Kaba, Kabbalah, and Sabil, daughter of Uranus and Gaia, wife of Saturn, mother of all the gods, which is why the days are pretty much in her honor, Sabil. The sacred shrine of the goddess were established where a black stone had fallen from heaven, and there a prophetess known as Sybil took up residence, speaking oracles from Apollo. We adore and venerate the great mother on this day as a savior of Rome and as a goddess whose religion was central to the formation of the young Atsutonis, who is the new Attis. The bisexuality of her incarnation as Agdistis and the transvestitism of her priesthood makes her religion of extreme importance to the concept of Homo Deus. This is a homosexual holiday. It's a homosexual holiday.
That's from Egypt.
No, from Greece and Rome.
Greece, Rome.
Now, in order to properly worship this deity, men have to castrate themselves because that's what her lover did. You'll find, like, did anyone watch the General's class Saturday when they were talking about going into Hindu gods? You was watching it, right?
When he was with the son.
John.
When he was talking with the other brother, he had came in on but General YAHANNA came in and was talking with the brother and so.
No, General YAHANNA, he had a video out Saturday. Yeah, Khan, he was going into the because with everything going on with the Hindus and over in India, we have brothers that's from Trinidad. So because there's a lot of them in Trinidad, some brothers know they're like how Hindu culture works. Hindu culture is very weird. Like I did not even know, like, yo, like they have a god in every part of the cow, and that's why they can't eat it. Like even in the horns, there's a different god. There's a god in the head, there's a god in the there's a god in the feces. He showed us another video during from last year when the coronavirus first happened. They're so adamant that there's a god inside of cow feces that you saw a cat bathe in feces and say, this will protect me from the coronavirus. Because Salakia, I saw part of the video, I was cooking. That was the night I think that's the night I made the I was cooking something that night. And I said, let me go in here and deal with my food because I don't even want to see this. And yeah.
Yeah, that was around.
God.
Don't they, so they just use the blood?
What you mean?
Do they use the cow? I think one of those religions use cow blood and put it on your skin or something like that.
They probably do. If they even.
You can't kill it, but you can use their blood.
I'm not sure. I know they were showing one video where they was having the cow trample on people. Like, okay, it's nicer now. Like, they basically, you come up, you bow, the cow's in front of you, and it goes like that, and you go about your business. They used to have it, the cow will literally trample on you, and you're blessed. Now, mind you, these are the same people that created dreads using feces. And if you think this is even weirder, like, remember, East Indians are the race that's known for smelling like shit, Slovakia. Like, all these heathens have weird and strange customs. Like the Bible, like, I was thinking about this to myself. Anybody ever tells you the Egyptians are some great and good people, they used to bury people alive. Y'all realize that, right? And used to say, like, if I was Pharaoh and y'all's my servants or my slaves, when I die, y'all are coming with me alive inside of the goddamn pyramid, and you're expected to starve to death and meet me in death so you can be my slaves in death. Like, but these are great and wise and understanding people that we should, like, thank behind. Like, even the cat I was talking about earlier, like, he believing in what's it called, the black woman being the first man. You want to talk about the Bible was rewritten 11 times, prove that. Didn't get back to me, but at the end of the day, I'm happier believing that I come from dirt than believing that I come from a monkey. Like, I don't know about you, like I don't understand how anyone could be happy about that. Yeah, we come from monkeys, bro. Like that don't, like, it makes more sense to come from dirt. I mean, that's what I return to when I die, right? I don't turn into a chimpanzee when I die. I don't grow a tail. Right? What's it called? How much time we got? We got a little time. Anybody got any questions so far? You got one? Ah, you got one?
The carnation flower, that is not Israel's culture at all, right?
What?
The carnation flower.
What is that?
That's the symbolism for the pagan mother.
Nah. Not to my, the carnation that they put on the, yeah, no, that's all BS that they created for this holiday. Flowers, none of that. Kind. Well, our flower is the lily.
Right.
Yeah, kind. Our flower is the lily.
Like, is there any white flower that represents a sister that's not married? And is there any red flower?
Not to my knowledge.
What flower are the misogyny?
So what?
What type of flowers are the misogyny?
I'm not sure. You'd have to probably ask Captain Bashar. Con. Yeah, Con. Yeah, Con. Babu Bashar, B'Quash, if you can give me Wisdom of Solomon 14 and 12. He's still in there. Let me know when you got it. This. You got it? Yeah, Con. So basically, that's it. Like, yeah, a lot of these heathens have weird customs. Like, I forgot, what else did he go into, Salakia? Salakia, I didn't see too much of that with the red dot. Like, he did get into Ganesh, but that's like kind of a weird story. Yeah.
The red dot, what you said about the red dot?
Yeah, Con.
The flower, that's what it symbolizes.
Her flower.
Yeah.
But like how and why?
I don't recall. It's supposed to be pure. To us, it's the opposite of what we believe.
What you mean?
Unclean.
Right, they think that makes her clean. That's yeah, these are dirty. Like this is why the Most High has laws against us being around them.
14:2.
Yeah, 12.
Count. Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 14, verse 12. For the devising of idols was the beginning of spiritual fornication.
What does that mean?
Spiritual wickedness. The devising of idols, the worshiping of idols.
What else? Fornication.
Fornication is the same thing as sexual immorality.
Sexual immorality, kind of unlawful sex. But now, what is spiritual fornication?
Putting breaking the commandments or putting other gods before Yahweh.
Okay, the second one definitely putting other gods before the Most High. That's spiritual fornication, definitely.
Right.
Keep going.
And the invention of them the corruption of life.
Meaning what? When you create these idols, you are corrupting life. You are destroying life. Meaning what? You put your mother on an idol, you are destroying life. Salaki? Come. What's called the creation of idols? Corrupts life. Meaning what? Because you're putting your mother inside of a pedestal that she does not deserve. Come. Okay, keep going, y'all.
Verse 13. For neither were they from the beginning, neither shall they be forever.
Meaning what? Your mother wasn't here from the beginning. Your mother wasn't always here. Neither will she be forever. Your mother has an end and a beginning. And which is the point? Our people honestly think that a lot of these things that we worship are timeless, but they aren't. And at the end of the day, that's what matters. You should not, at the end of the day, like he was saying, like Captain Mashak was saying about the other nations in the scripture that says their gods will be famished. Because like they got gods, like they'll have sections of the house and then a shrine dedicated to that god. And every day they bring it like milk and cookies and stuff like that. And like at the end of the day, that it's nothing. Like you might outlive this statue. That's how God. You look stupid. That's how God looks at you. This thing is not eternal, right? That's also why he's jealous. Like you liking something, you giving your power to something that is weak and isn't anything. You can destroy this, but you choose to bow down to it. Keep going.
Verse 14. For by the vainglory of men they entertained into the world. Entered into the world.
By the vainglory of men. Meaning what? Men that just for no reason want to be upheld and glorified. By their vainglory. Keep going.
And therefore shall they come shortly to an end.
And therefore shall they. Okay. By those same men's vainglory, they're going to be destroyed. Right? Men are going to destroy these idols. Okay? By vainglory, you put your mother on a pedestal and give her some flowers. That woman wanted to vainly glorify her mother. Right? And then when she saw that other people were going to make money off it, she had a problem. Keep going.
Verse 15. For a father afflicted with untimely mourning, when he hath made an image of his child soon taken away.
Now, stop. That's what this situation is about. This woman, after her mother died, thought it was a good idea to honor her with a holiday. Right? Keep going.
Now honored him as a god.
All right? Now honored him as a god. Keep going.
Which was then a dead man.
Which was then a dead man. Keep going.
And delivered to those that were under him ceremonies and sacrifices.
Meaning what? This woman went and made ceremonies and sacrifices for her mother and made her mother basically into a god. But here's the problem. Keep going.
Verse 16. Thus in process of time, an ungodly custom grown strong was kept as a law.
An ungodly process grown strong was kept as a law, meaning what? They made it a national holiday, but to honor everybody's mother. And with the purpose that your green card company, no, your flower company, your greeting card company, your jewelry company, and all that would make money, right? That's the purpose of this. Keep going.
And graven images were worshipped by the commandments of kings.
And graven images were worshipped by the commandments of kings. You are commanded to honor your mother. Salakia, make sure the charger's out. His charger's not plugged in. Okay, most high press the water. Okay. Shots. Salakia, keep going.
Verse 17, whom men could not honor in presence because they dwelt far off. They took the counterfeit of his visage from far and made an express image of a king,
right,
whom they honored, to the end that by this their forwardness they might flatter him that was absent as if he were present.
Meaning what? They want to flatter you, they want to honor this God even though he's gone. And that's the point. People need to understand. The problem the Most High has with a false idol is really because you look stupid worshiping it. Like, Count Messiah says this all the time. I can't serve like Jesus. I'll beat the hell out of him. And that's the truth. Like, how you look honoring the sun. Like, you worship the sun. I put a gun in your head. At night, what's the sun gonna do? Like, think about that. Like, people really were out there worshiping the sun, worshiping the moon. People were out there literally taking a rock, chiseling at the rock, making it look like a face, and then worshiping that. But it's very simple. Why? Why would I go through all that trouble? Anybody know? Why would I go through all the trouble of chiseling out rock and making a face and saying, this is my God? God.
They foolish.
No. Yes, but no.
They want something they can see.
No. God.
They didn't want to keep the law, the commandments.
Right. What's it called? I can rob you because this stone says I can. I can eat pork because the stone says I can. I can sleep with my woman on her period because the stone says I can. I don't, the law, but however, I can't be a homosexual because the stone doesn't like homosexuals. I can't sleep with anybody's wife because the stone doesn't like adultery. I get to make up what I want to do with the stone. Same thing with Mother's Day. You get to say how good you are to your parents. Your parents get to say how good they are to you. Right? Your mother thinks she deserves, like, the grandmother who's keeping her rapist son from justice thinks that she's a good grandmother. Thinks that she does everything right. Right? But that's the point. She doesn't. We're about to end off in a sec. Give me Proverbs 31 and 10. Yeah, Khan. We're about to end off in a bit. Yeah, Khan. Give me Proverbs 31 and 10. And we're about to get how a righteous woman is supposed to be. Right? And a woman that does get praise. Because we've been talking about a woman who doesn't get praise, but let's talk about a woman who does, so we know.
The book of Proverbs, chapter 31, verse 10.
Right.
Who can find a virtuous woman?
Right.
For her price is far above rubies.
Keep going.
Verse 11.
Who can find a virtuous woman for a price is far above rubies? Meaning what? She's expensive. Meaning what? It's hard to find her. Meaning you're going to have to go through some challenges in order to get this. Right? She's more valuable than rubies, which is a valuable stone. Keep going. Can't do that.
The heart Verse 11. The heart of her husband doth safely trust in her,
right?
so that he shall have no need of spoil.
So that he shall have no need of spoil. What does that mean? What is spoil first?
Like the spoils of war, like his needs, his wants.
Okay, but what does spoil exactly mean?
No need of spoil, meaning
no spoil. What does spoil itself mean? Hopefully the dictionary has the way I want it. What were you gonna say, Bakwash?
I remember, I think Cat wrote the scripture down, or the gentleman, and they were saying how having a virtuous woman will keep a brother from going outside and stealing to impress people, or stealing the half stuff, because the woman will be able to take care of help.
Okay. What you got, y'all, for spoils?
Diminish or destroy the value or quality of.
Keep going.
Mar, damage, impair, harm the character of someone, especially a child, by being too lenient or indulgent. The last thing I want to do is spoil Thomas. Overindulge, pamper, indulge. Good thing, so like goods stolen or taken.
Goods what?
Goods stolen or taken forcibly from a person or a place.
That's the one. Goods stolen or taken from a person or a group or a place.
They use the word booty.
Booty.
Booty in that class. They use the word booty.
Booty. Yeah, like pirates booty.
Right.
Right. Meaning what? Spoil is basically anything gotten from evil means. Like drug dealing. That's not, because technically, usually you'll look at spoil to be like thievery. But in a way, but technically, drug dealing can also be considered spoil concepts. What do you mean? Well, yes, but this is more so talking about a brother going out to do evil in order to get money.
Right.
You understand? That's what it's talking about. Meaning, like, because his brother has a good woman, he doesn't have to rob me. And that's what that's talking about. Because that's a lot of you gotta understand, a lot of people are about to get robbed in the next few days. Just like every Christmas. Like when you're in the world, you don't realize it, but like staying here long enough, and you'll notice every Christmas, every major Edomite holiday, there's an uptick in crime inside of our communities. This is why. It's usually always to praise some woman. I gotta get my mama a Mother's Day gift, right? So I'm gonna rob you. I'm gonna sell these drugs. I'm gonna break into your house. I'm gonna rob grandma for her Social Security check, right? That's how it works, right? But when you have it's saying here, when you have a virtuous woman, you have no need for those things. Why? Because she's not gonna hassle you about the diapers you can't buy. You was unemployed in the morning. What makes you think you got money now? Right? What's called? And then what's so evil is that our people, one of them, she'll be the same one to cry when it's her father getting beat upside the head for his tip money because he's a doorman. Like when her grandmother's the one getting robbed, then she wants to cry. You have to stop being the problem because you convinced your homegirl to talk ish about her baby daddy and how he wasn't anything and didn't have no money. So he went outside and the first person he saw was your grandma. That's what you get. That's what happens. Right? Keep going. So now I can drop that. Give me 16.
Verse 16. She considers a field and buyeth it.
Now let me stop you there. There's one thing you have to understand. People get this idea that in the scriptures, we like people think we're like devils, like when it comes to women. Devils are oppressive. His woman is an idiot. So his ideal, or the idea that he spreads, that just lay on your back, have the babies, and try not to burn down the house when you cook, is a right sentiment because the white woman is stupid. Salaki, I shouldn't even said white woman. But yeah, I should have said the oppressor's woman is stupid. Like, I'm going to explain something to you. Martha Stewart is not magical. Martha Stewart is what happens when you have a blender and Aunt Jemima. Meaning what? Back in the day, what's called, a sister would have to wake up 5, 6 in the morning. Salaki says, have you ever made pancakes from scratch? Like, not Aunt Jemima, you go inside the store and get the pancake mix. You take the baking soda, you take the baking powder. Yeah, if the process of making the batter itself take about 30 minutes. Now, once you do that, like, you got to understand, back in the day, middle class people, if you had a little money, like, and you had a decent slavery, you wouldn't even do that. You'd hire a totally different person to come in the house, make your pancake batter, and do all the extra things that you can't. Because nowadays, you can go in the store and just get canned collard greens, right? Somebody had to sit there and pick and then clean those back in the day. Like, these are the things that the scripture, when you go back and read it, is talking about. Like, this is the beauty of a virtuous woman. What does virtue mean? Skillful. She has working abilities, right? That's what it's talking about. So, Salakia. So read that from the top, 16.
Verse 16. She considereth a field and buyeth it.
Now, what does that mean that we allow inside of Israel? Like, people wouldn't think that we do allow, but we do allow it, and we always have. We don't see a woman as a baby maker. She has more use. The black man has always known we have sex with a supercomputer. That's what the black man has always known we have our women can get us into space. We've always known that, right? So we've never had the idea that she needs to stay in the house or stay in the corner. What is this scripture really saying? She considereth a field and buyeth it. It's very simple. God. Huh? No, this ain't a job. She considereth a field and buyeth it. Khan. Bakwash.
Buy land, get a home.
So what does that mean she can do?
Buy a home, get a home.
Buy
Land.
I would prefer the word property, but land is good too. A woman is allowed to buy property inside of Israel. A woman is technically allowed to inherit, but there's certain stipulations depending on the woman. Well, depending on the situation. Like if you're the only child or your father only had daughters, you can inherit, but there'd be a whole thing about, like, if your husband's of a different tribe, that'll have to, because land goes by the tribe. So that's land your father had since Moses. You can't just like marry a Judite and be like, well, that's Judite land now. So that had to be worked out. But for the most part, a woman can inherit property. Keep going.
With the fruit of her hands, she planted a vineyard.
Meaning what? Then she can use that property and create a business. We do not allow, we want our women to be entrepreneurs inside of Israel. Keep going.
She girdeth her loins with strength,
and
strengtheneth her arms.
Keep going.
Verse 18. She perceiveth that her merchandise is good.
Now, who also does this? Perceives that something's good. Captain Zakar brought this out to me, and it's very important to understand. Like, people think that we downplay women or we treat women like they're beneath or whatever. Women have certain skills, certain godly skills. It's just they weren't given certain other skills. They weren't given certain other positions. Who does that? Looks at something and says it's good. Very simple. Everybody knows this one or has heard this before.
The Most High.
Exactly. Saw the earth that it was good. Saw the animals that it was good. Saw the beasts that it was good. Saw the plants that it was good. Right? The sister sees her merchandise that it is good. That's a godly. That is something that our women get, a skill that they have from the Most High. You go back further, a woman's skill with shopping is also a God-given gift, and that should be nourished. A woman has the ability to shop and also to cook. what's it called? She gets her food from afar. That means your wife can make you teriyaki chicken straight from the house. You want sushi? Your woman can make you sushi. You like that little African food, like pho or whatever? That woman can make you pho. Right? That's what it's talking about. Verse 7, keep going.
Her candle goeth not out by night.
And she stay working. That's what this is talking about. Keep going.
Verse 19, she layeth her hands
Actually,
to the
stop.
spindle.
Go to 20.
Verse 20, she stretches out her hand to the poor.
Now, what is that talking about? She stretches out her hand to the poor.
She feeds those who are unfortunate.
Right. She feeds the poor. She helps her people. Our women, our women in the Christian church don't do that. They look down on the poor. Keep going.
Yeah. She reaches forth her hands to the needy.
And I'm not talking about the poor, like the cat on the street. They feel vindicated by helping them out. I'm talking about the drug dealer. The drug dealer is poor. That's why he sells drugs. Right? But instead of helping them, they downplay them and really try to get them arrested, so on and so forth. Keep going.
Verse 21, she is not afraid of the snow of her household.
She is not afraid of the snow for her household. What does that mean?
Meaning the weather.
Okay, but give me more.
It's a two-part verse.
Give me the next part then.
For all her household are clothed with scarlet.
All her household is clothed with scarlet. So what does that mean?
And she can sew, keep the house warm, and the members of her house warm.
Okay, Khan. But what does the first part mean? Meaning she's not afraid of the snow for her household. She's out in whatever condition, making sure her house is right.
So it's not literal snow.
It could be literal snow. It could be literal snow. It could be hail. It could be, what's it called? Snow's just the one that nobody likes to go out in. Like, you want to go out in the, like, imagine having to go out 5 o'clock in the morning to get eggs and to get groceries for the house and to make sure that everything's right for the house. Right? That's a good and virtuous woman. And she's willing to do it. Keep going.
Verse 22. She maketh herself coverings of tapestry. Her clothing
Keep going.
is silk and purple.
Keep going. 24.
She maketh fine linen and selleth it, and delivereth girdles unto the merchant.
Meaning what? She's a businesswoman. She's allowed to do business and be an entrepreneur. Right? Keep going.
Verse 25. Strength and honor are her clothing.
Keep going.
And she shall rejoice in time to come.
Keep going.
Verse 26. She openeth her mouth with wisdom.
What is wisdom?
The scriptures.
Right, and that's what you have to understand. We have nothing wrong with a woman talking. Women have beautiful voices. But when should a woman open her mouth? With wisdom. Right? Well, when shouldn't a woman open her mouth? About her gay friend. Like, your gay friend ain't even allowed to know. If you're a black man, if your wife has a gay friend, kick them both out the house. Sloppy. If you have that power, yeah, you got to get out of my house. So long as you cool with that, you can't be cool with me. I'll see you on the weekends. Go stay with your mama. Y'all can kiki up over there. Have a good Mother's Day. You and that transvestite. Matter of fact, we just broke down Mother's Day's a holiday for transvestites. Right? Keep going.
And in her tongue is the law of kindness. Verse 27. She looketh well to the ways of her household, and eateth not the bread of idleness.
Meaning what? She's always working. She's always finding something good to do for the benefit of the house. Right? Keep going. This is what a good woman is. A righteous woman of God. Read on.
Verse 28. Her children arise up and call her blessed. Her husband also, and he praiseth her.
And that's the point you got to understand. A virtuous and good woman will not need a Mother's Day. A virtuous and good woman is beloved by her children daily. I heard Gentleman Hyman say, "Yeah, I force my kids to tell my wife they're beautiful. Tell my wife she's beautiful. Like I'll go to them and be like, yo, go in there and tell your mother she's beautiful. Go in there and tell your mother she's beautiful. Yeah, come, because that's right. They'll go and be like, oh my God, thank you. That makes their day, and you should do it. You should make sure that your children honor their mother in everything that she does. But you should not force it when your oppressor wants you to force it. Right? 30. Give me 30. And same thing with the husband. The husband should praise a good wife. If you have a good sister that's behind you and speaks with wisdom and doesn't eat the bread of idleness, you should praise that woman. That woman should be praised. Give me verse 30.
Favor is deceitful, and beauty is vain. But a woman that feareth the Lord, she shall be praised.
She shall be praised. Favor is deceitful, and beauty is vain. Beauty of a woman means nothing. Con, I know. Huh? Sign out. Con, one more second. Yeah, Con, after this verse, Con. Shall be praised, meaning she's going to be praised. Give me the next one.
Verse 31. Give her of the fruit of her hands, and let her own works praise her in the gates.
Meaning what? Pay that woman her due. Give her her just deserts that woman is owed for the great work that she does. And that's the point. Mother's Day is about honoring every lackadaisy woman, regardless of whatever type of person she is or mother she is, right? But in here, you have to put your brick in to get an honor. And when you do put that brick in, you will receive that honor. And it'll be glorious and precious and beautiful. And with that, I pass the class over to the priest and officer YAHANNA. Announcement. SHALAM.
We're going to give one courtesy salute.